You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump's corruption backfires. Democrat now competitive in deep red farmland, based on an article by Matthew Rosset. When Republicans muzzle Oversight, they call the Watchdog Partisan. The setup. Rob Sand's rise in Iowa is being described as a story about moderation, bipartisanship, and a Democrat finding room in hostile terrain. That is the surface. The harder truth is simpler. Republicans weaken the auditor's office while Sand held it. Trump's corruption has degraded the political environment, and the GOP is now trying to brand the person calling for accountability as the problem. Who actually has power? Power in this story sits where it usually does, with a party that controls the state machinery and writes the rules around it. Iowa Republicans did not merely criticize the auditor. They passed a law limiting the office's oversight powers during Sand's tenure. That is not an argument about philosophy. It is an institutional decision to reduce scrutiny. Accountability as a threat. Sand's platform is built around concrete restraints, whistleblower protections, bans on stock trading by officials, stronger penalties for embezzlement and fraud, public audit access for private schools taking vouchers. None of that is glamorous. That is the point. These are the kinds of rules corrupt systems hate because they force politicians to behave like officials instead of extractive actors. The misdirection. The flattering media frame is that Sand wins by avoiding partisanship and speaking in practical terms. Fine, but it is worth being clear about what that framing can hide. The Republican Party is not responding to him with a better program. It is responding by trying to relabel him as a lib in moderate's clothing. That is the familiar move when one side has no defense for its conduct and would rather attack the messenger than answer the audit. What the source reveals. The deeper pattern is not that Iowa is uniquely moderate or that voters secretly crave technocratic governance. It is that public trust collapses when political actors abuse institutions, then demand applause for pretending the damage is a misunderstanding. Sand's appeal comes from naming consequences in plain language. The GOP's counterattack comes from treating Oversight as a partisan provocation. Or a lesson. This is what authoritarian politics looks like before it fully hardens. Weaken the referee, flood the zone with branding, then accused the watchdog of bias for noticing the theft. The Democratic advantage here is not that it has become charming. It is that, in a degraded political field, the bare act of insisting on accountability still reads as radical. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Ryan, thanks for listening.